to the Concert Queen Connect. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy to have Jack Gallagher, who is a good friend of mine, also with C3 and does artist management. So I will let you kind of take the reins on that and tell people what you do. But welcome. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
Welcome. So tell us about Jack Gallagher.
Okay. So I work at C3 Management in Austin, here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
We're at a secret studio location right now. So I won't say where we are. But
Secret studio?
No, like where we are right now.
Oh, where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're also in Austin, but and I manage artists there. I manage a band called Mt.Joy and a singer-songwriter artist named Adam Melchor. Mt.Joy is from Philly and a little all over Portland, Oregon, and LA. And Adam's from New Jersey, but he lives in LA now as well. And I've been at C3 Management for 4 years, but I've been managing for like 8 years in different one way or another, I guess. And before that, I did a couple different jobs. Like I was a promoter and book shows. Did like talent buying when I was in college and stuff. So I've done a little bit of everything. But we met, as you said, this is our 2 year before.
Yeah, this is our 2 year
friendship anniversary.
2 year friendiversary. So we met ACL 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brian Roberts, good mutual friend of mine from Dallas, was staying with me.
Yeah.
And we were rolling there. I mean, that was a crazy bender of a
I don't remember it being like the first time we met, but I do remember seeing you there. But I figured we would have already met or something.
I was probably frolicking around
with like a crazy outfit.
Yes.
And I was wearing a black shirt and jeans.
Yes. It's all coming back to me now, like Celine Dion style of how. That's awesome. Yeah. I just remember again, like, who is this guy? Because I remember you talking to everybody. And then again, like Brian introduced me to you and then we were just fast friends.
Yeah.
Mt.Joy was presenting or not presenting. They were
2 years
playing.
ago we were playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Brian was a friend from Dallas who moved. He lives here now. And I
still haven't seen since.
You haven't seen him?
No.
You got to hit him up.
We have, but it's this little thing called a pandemic happening right now. So
yes, it's true. So I saw him last night at a social distance show.
Really?
It was like one of those like picnic tables type of show. Only like not many people were there. It felt really safe. It was cool.
Where was that at?
Central Machine Works.
Okay.
It was cool.
That's awesome.
Nice, like chill, big backyard spot in Austin. Yeah. But yeah, so what do you like? I mean, do you want me to dive into like the past?
No, I mean, like that's where we met. Well, like you said, I think with everything happening right now, like I said, shows for us. I mean, this is the first time we've seen each other. I know we were kind of going back and forth before we started this of like when the last time was. I believe it was at that Corona event before, ironically, before Corona.
It wasn't a Corona.
It wasn't
event.
Corona.
That was beer Corona. And
it was Corona Live. Yes.
Hosting.
I was hosting. And I believe that, again, the irony of that being a Corona event before.
Not fun.
It's now it's not funny anymore. That joke did not age well.
Yeah. That was in February.
Yeah.
And then, then I was kind of on and off the road at that time, with Mt.Joy, and they were on tour with the Lumineers, which was awesome.
Wow.
Like playing arenas, like basketball arenas and hockey arenas, which is really cool.
Wow.
And, I guess it was like back at some point and saw you, but like, I remember it was like kind of two waves, I guess, like what was happening. Like we heard about it in the news and like started hearing about it more in January, more in February, but it just didn't feel like that real. And then I got a call from one of my buddies from New York, Sam Sheffer. Shout out Sam Sheffer. Awesome
what
guy.
Up, Sam?
Very, very good YouTube page himself.
Friend of Jack's, friend of mine.
He called me and said, I'm not going to come to South by anymore because the coronavirus. And I was like, come on. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's probably going to get canceled. I was like, no way. There's no way. And I think this is like maybe March 1st or something. Then I was at coffee with another friend and like I got the call that like it was canceled and I was like, whoa, South by's canceled. Like that's really crazy. I get it. Big event, people coming from all over the world. That's how it could maybe get here. Okay. And then Rudy Gobert got sick. The guy who plays in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
And it came out that like he was sick halfway through like a game. They canceled the rest of the game, and I was watching it, and I was like, "That's not good. Like this is like really serious." And my band was playing in Milwaukee. I think it was that night at like where the Bucks play with the Lumineers, which was, you know, a great night. But I was talking with the band before, and it had gotten more serious at this point, and we had 2 more shows left. We had a show in Minneapolis, and then we had like a headlining show in Omaha or Oklahoma City. And I was talking to the guitar player, Sam, and I think that the shows are going to get canceled. And again, I was not so naive to it. I was like, there's no way they're going to cancel these 2 shows. Like there's too, like, it's not that dangerous. There's too much money up in the air. And they did cancel both of those shows.
Wow.
Very
so
quickly
who makes that call? Like you said, was that, you know, obviously you're the manager, you know, they're all looking to you kind of for that guidance. Mm-hmm. So who, you know, again, with who was making those calls at that time? That call was
like definitely probably someone on the Lumineers team or the venues, but probably like the Lumineers manager was told by somebody like, you probably shouldn't have 15,000, 20,000 people in a room.
Wow.
I'm guessing it was like building up to that day. And then the NBA thing happened. It was like very dramatic.
Made it real.
It made it like, very real. I'm like, oh, they're going to cancel like sports. They're going to cancel
everything.
Shows. And then like from there, we're like, okay, we got very lucky. Like I feel bad for a ton of artists. My intern Cameron had just like started tour managing this act Dayglow, who's from Austin.
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with Dayglow.
Yeah, he had a show in like Chicago, and he was only 2 shows in, so that's a big bummer. So we got lucky in like that sense. But like then we're like, okay, we're looking at it. We're like, well, we're playing Bonnaroo in June, and we had like a bunch of other festivals. We had 2 Red Rocks in July with Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and it's middle of March, and they're like, well, in the summer, like it's going to burn off. And I was like,
so where were you getting like your information from?
I think
like
the burn off thing might have been the news, but
okay. I didn't know like if y'all had, you know, like at C3 you have like this
definitely like
inside. I mean, people kind of look at C3, but people that aren't familiar with C3 is just this like global, you know, just literally a hotspot and a hub for anything that's music, concert related. Like you said, they have a whole branch that's just artist management. So I feel like with you guys, and again, like all these big, especially in the music space, I feel like you always kind of blaze the trail and kind of know like what's happening. And, you know, you kind of know what's cool when it comes to music too. I know you'll have some secret algorithms back there that you guys are running. I'm on you. I know what's going on.
But no, they like, Charlie and Charles definitely are like on a bunch of calls with talent buyers a lot around the world and like Live Nation that they're getting information that's like,
right.
You know, like I'm guessing like health officials talking to them too, because like they're throwing the biggest events.
True.
Like Lollapalooza is like hundreds of thousands of people. So like they're talking with the city of Chicago, they're talking to the mayor of Chicago, not just like about all the details about it, like how it's going to happen or not happen. But yes, I guess like they probably know a little bit more, but like I think the big takeaway is that no one knows anything. And like doctors are hopefully working really hard. Like right now it's like politicized, which is like crazy. Like they're like politicians are trying to get one way or another off of it and like making these different promises that are just like, there's no way to promise anything because we don't know. And so for like shows like, but going back, like we thought there'd be summer, we thought there'd be festivals still.
Yeah. I think everyone did. I think we all thought this was like, oh, this is just gonna be a temporary thing. You know, summer, everyone kind of like lockdown happened, I feel like. And so obviously that happened with you guys. And then like, where did you go from, when did you realize that you're like, wow, okay, I'm going to really need to figure something else out?
It was just like happening in waves. Like every day was like a different bit of bad news.
Wow.
So it was like tours canceled. Okay, I got to get them flights home from the bus will drive to Chicago. They'll fly to Chicago, go home. Then it's like, we had shows like in a few weeks that were smaller. And we're like, okay, those might happen. And we didn't know what it like was to the fact that you can't do anything. Like you can't be around people.
Right.
We're just like, I was under the assumption it was like, you know, can't do big events where people are traveling in from all over. But then like those kind of got canceled. Then the summer got canceled. And then my like agents like, we should look at moving your fall tour to next spring. And I was like, no, like it was like our biggest tour. And it was like,
when was that? Like around what time was that?
I don't even remember, honestly. Like all bleeds together.
It really does. I feel like the last 6 months is just a blur. Like, I feel like I went from, and I guess like for me in concerts and music, it's like my whole like 2019, like I can catalog everything. I know like by a show, what weekend it was, by the out.
You
like
literally have all the Instagram stories.
I do. I have all the Instagram stories. 2019 was lit. I knew like, exactly what it's doing every single weekend, and it's all kind of documented. And then it's like you have 2020 and there's nothing. I can't tell you what I did in April, May, June because I wasn't doing anything.
It's just blocks of times where like things have changed somewhat.
Totally, just a blur.
Like in the city or something. But so they, our agent called me, like, we should move to the spring. I was like not gonna give into that. I was like, there's no way. Like in these whole, like when you're booking a tour, you're like trying to get a city at a certain venue on a certain date. And you call dibs pretty much. And then like there's like a line of dibs, and like once someone's like down to like really commit, they say like let's say it's the fifth person in line says like, I'm ready to commit to this show. The venue's got to go to the first person and say, do you not want it anymore? The second person, third person, fourth person until the fifth. And so I was like, I can't give up these dates that we like locked in, fought for with the exact promoters and venues we wanted to be in.
So pause that for a sec.
Yeah.
How far in advance, like you said, if you're booking these shows for people that aren't familiar, because I think, again, like just someone who goes to concerts, I have no idea. Like, what is that time frame? Like, what is that lead time that it takes to book? Like, how far in advance? Like you said, you're booking in advance. Like,
I would say there's no like rule. Right now, we just booked a show on
the typical lead time versus like what it is now.
Yeah,
so
right.
The typical before, like if you were, let's say, Mt.Joy, you're going to book a tour for them. Like, how far in advance are you booking for that?
Depends on the size of the band and like how big of rooms you're going for. If you're like trying to play arenas, it's probably like a year out.
Okay.
Because you got to lock in those dates. You're going against the other biggest acts. You're going against the sporting teams too that are playing those places. And then there's like smaller bands, maybe like 3 months. Maybe a show pops up in a few weeks. Like maybe you're supporting somewhere and it's like a last second thing. But I'd say like 9 months, 6 to 6 months. It depends how like ahead of things you want to be and like ready to go.
Yeah.
I think now it's like more like a year probably.
Really?
Yeah.
A year flat for everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
But with these drive-in shows that Mt.Joy started doing, and Adam Melchor has done as well with them.
So when did y'all start doing those? Because
we did. So I got a call like in July. I didn't get a call in July. I saw like an Instagram post about a show in Philly, and it was a drive-in show. And I'd heard about these from the beginning. I think like Mark Reveille was doing them, and I just wasn't sure. I was like, are they safe? Like, are they cool? Is the production good?
Yeah.
Is it corny? Like, I was against the concept. And the band was definitely against the concept too. Like they didn't want to
really?
There was a long time where no one wanted to fly at all, travel at all, do anything. And so therefore like they were like, it was a non-starter. But the band's from Philly. I saw one that like they were doing at the Phillies parking lot. And I was like, I forget who the band was. Maybe it's AJR or something. But I was like, that's really cool. And I called the lead singer of the band. I was like, would you do this? Would you play this? And he's like, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Or I might even like already got the offer and then told him kind of thing. I don't remember, but I called my friend Joe Faree, who works at Live Nation, and he used to like be one of the people who run Philly, but now he's at their touring department in LA. But I was like, what's this thing? Like, why are we getting an offer? Come on, let's do it. Cause like the band's from Philly.
Hey, give me an offer.
Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And we had an offer like that day.
That's awesome.
And I was just so excited because we hadn't done anything since like March 14th. And
that date it's not like blazed in
yeah, for sure.
March 14th.
But he like, we got an offer. It was good. The money was good. It was like a festival type offer. I was like, this is awesome. Talked to the band. I was like, are you the people that were in LA and Portland, are you comfortable? And like, we'll have to go early to like quarantine and all that sort of stuff. And they were like, yes, like we're down. Like, be safe. They wore their masks. They wore their shields. I saw them and like they sent me a picture from like when they were about to take off with their whole get up, and it was like pretty comically safe. But and then I told Allie, our booking agent, Allie Hedrick, I was like, let's try to find like another one around it maybe.
Yeah.
Because I saw a couple bands starting to like play them, and we got one in Cape Cod, and it was like a bad offer upfront money wise, but I was like, we're already in the neck of the woods, guys. If it sells out, we'll actually make like a lot of money. Like the back end, if it goes well, like both people win kind of thing. And the band was like, let's do it. They're kind of more down for it than they would have been previously, definitely. And I went to both shows and they were awesome. Like the teams running them were like, it was your best people in Philly, because a lot of people haven't had any work to do. So it was it was like awesome promoters, sound people, everything. And everyone was just like so happy to be doing it. Cape Cod is the same. It was like this team from Chicago actually throwing it there, but it was like such a cool show. We sold it out. So they actually made really good money. And we looked at like the money and the quality of the shows. And I was like, these are awesome. I called our agent Allie again. I was like, let's do as many of these as possible.
Wow.
And we've done like 14 since.
14?
Yeah.
Wow. So I went to the EDM drive-in. That was like the first drive-in. That was in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And that was back like when drive-ins were, again, like I hadn't seen anyone do it. So I like went for the experience. I was like, I want to go check this out, see if it's, because again, same kind of thing. Like really I'm going to be partying in my car. So it's like you have like from that booking perspective, but I feel like from the concert perspective, I wanted to know, like, is this even fun? Like you said, is it something that, am I going to drive up and be in the very back and can't hear anything?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of always the hiccup and just the hang up of going to those shows. Yeah. You know, so what would you say, again, like production, because I saw that, you know, I was watching your Instagram stories and saw you went to these. What did you feel like was the production like that really just solidified? You're like, yes, we're doing 14 of these. Like,
I mean, and also we've done enough now that I know exactly how you have to do it from a safety perspective. I mean, they've all been safe.
So what are some like key like things that you saw, keys to like, success with a drive-in?
A grid of parking. So it's like your spots next to both of you are open and the spot behind you is open. So it's like kind of like diagonal zigzag. So then you really can like, you can get out of your car and be in your little bubble, but like it gives a little buffer room for like the person who's kind of like a little out of their, a little loose.
Crazy Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy Jerry. And so that's important. A lot of security, like walking the lanes. In Philly, they had like bike cops and that was great because they were just like biking, being real nice, but like, hello, like step. No one was acting crazy, but there was people like, if they go a little bit, they'd be like, hey, go back. And if you're not like eating or drinking, they'd ask you to be like wearing your mask. I think that's like important. And then those are the two main things, honestly. Yeah. So cars being spaced out, wearing your mask or whatever. Then I guess how merch and food is done is really important too. Like some people have done like a merch booth. And I think what it has to be is merch delivered to your car and food delivered to your car. Cause it's like, it just like, it takes down the contact. I mean, people do have to be able to go to the bathroom. Right. But
I feel like that's the one thing that you have to, again, like you said. Exactly.
So it's like the people that have done it right with the delivery system is like so awesome. It's like a person on a bike or a golf cart brings you like your in-app or on the website, you can order your food, your merch right there next to each other. Awesome. And that's awesome. And merch has been so like good on these, like surprisingly so, where I've been like hustling and shipping more stuff from our place here in Austin and like running around crazy. But like that. And then sound wise, it's like either through the car speakers or from the PA on stage. The PA on stage is much better. It just feels like a show. Your car speakers, everyone's got the speaker turned up at different volumes.
So they do. So they have it tuned to a certain station, or is it AM, FM? FM. Yeah. And you tune in and you can hear it through your car.
So yours was that. It wasn't from stage.
They had both. Like I said, they had it from the stage. But again, I feel like everybody's making these improvements, you know, with the sound. Because to me, like obviously sound is the most important thing to me. But
for us too, for like our kind of music for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like what's interesting, I want to go back to like the merch. Cause I know, like you said, merch, just the ways that, again, like you're generating money for these art. Like how are those artists, like, especially just in general, like what ways are they looking to kind of, obviously ticket sales, but what other ways do you see that they can make money for that or generate revenue?
Merch is huge during, especially during COVID. It's been like just awesome. I don't know if it's because people are feeling like more willing to give back and give band stuff, or if we're doing a good job with what we've been offering merch wise.
But you have dope merch though.
Been trying.
I really like their merch. If you haven't seen the Mt.Joy merch, it's awesome. I'm still waiting on my beanie. Yeah. Did you bring my beanie?
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Jack, the last time, I saw you at Scoot In when Mt.Joy played.
Last fall.
That was last fall. Yeah. And again, like Mt.Joy was amazing, but Jack is not afraid to roll up his sleeves. You were there like helping with the merch because it was jam packed. Everybody was trying to get some merch and you're there.
Back when that was okay to just be like jam packed. Like kids fighting for merch.
Slanging t-shirts.
No, I love selling merch.
Really?
I like selling merch and like making the money, but I also like seeing what people buy. And I also like asking how they heard about the band and stuff. Like cool. How did you hear about the band? Like because people will say like Pandora, and I'll be like, oh, and people will say like Shazam at a restaurant. Like you just hear these different things that reminds you that like everything's important for your stuff to get known. Like it's not just Spotify or Apple Music. It's not just YouTube. It's like, it's not just the radio.
So that definitely sets you apart, I feel like. Because like you said, a lot of people you're constantly learning because it's like you can take that knowledge to your other artists. For sure. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Shazam on did you say at a restaurant?
Yeah. Like if the song's playing over whatever restaurant music. We had a couple restaurant music songs. I love it,
Yeah. No, that's great. So, okay. So you said merch is a big thing. Obviously, like you said, songs. Were y'all during this time was Mt.Joy? I know this has been like a big creative time too. Everyone's like back in the studio because what else do they really have to do? Was that something? Are you guys working on new music during that time?
Yeah.
Expect some new Mt.Joy.
Yeah. Matt, the lead singer of Mt.Joy, is like, I think he's always writing. But it's harder to write on the road because the schedule's pretty crazy. It's like you're kind of sleeping until you have to do stuff.
Got it.
And once you have to do stuff, you're kind of bouncing around. He's got to do a bunch of like phone or interviews and drops and little videos. And so I think he's much more comfortable writing when he's not on the road. And we haven't been. So he's been writing, and the band has gotten together to work on some songs. I can say we have a new song. If this comes out in like a week, we're like going to announce that we have a new song in a few weeks. I'm really excited about it. It sounds really cool. Just heard a version of it this like earlier today. So they've been like working on a bunch of music. All the other band members have been at their places, like working on different parts or ideas and like sending it to each other. And, I think we'll take this time to like make our next album.
Yeah.
Even though we just put out one like June 5th.
Wow.
Like the second week of the protest, which is like maybe not the best time to put out an album. It was a little too late to change it when it dropped, but and Adam Melchor has been like cranking out music during,
really? Well, he's a solo artist too, right? So he can literally just pull out his guitar. And
previously, before quarantine, he was doing like a lot of sessions with producers and other writers and stuff. And so he was often working with producers that were helping him make the music, like the instrumental side of it, and recording him maybe and stuff like that. But during quarantine, he was like, he's like, at first you couldn't meet up with people.
Yeah.
And then it was like, people were kind of okay to meet up, still kind of weird. So in that time, he like taught himself to produce, like really, like he already knew it like to a certain extent, but he could make demos and stuff, but he's really upped his production skills. The songs sound amazing. He's got music coming out really soon. And then another whole project is done that we'll be announcing soon. Wow. He'll have another whole project like probably next year. He's got tons of songs and they're all like, he's a phenomenal songwriter.
So it sounds like you're still really busy, even though like, again, I'm sure obviously there was that lag, but like now are things kind of ramping back up for y'all? Is it something that you're seeing like? Yeah.
I mean, we're crazy busy now with the drive-ins. Mt.Joy they're playing in Vermont tonight. They're about to finish. That's why I was like checking my phone to see if they're like texting me for anything. But they're playing Vermont tonight. Then they're done until they come to Texas at the end of the month. They're playing Dallas on the 29th and then 2 Austin shows on Halloween. One at like where doors are at like 1 p.m. and one at where doors are at like 7 p.m.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, that'll be cool. I went to the hotspot for the Hot Mess Fest. And again, it was a great area, like super spread out. And, just in general, it was an amazing venue. And again, like kind of an ACL style, like quality production.
That's awesome.
I was really impressed. So I'm excited. And I've talked to that team because, I have to like vet everything out before I promote it. And I spoke to the founders and I mean, they went through the first one. And again, I kind of watched the video and it looked amazing. I was like the artist they have. We talked about Sam Houston. You're the one who was like, make sure you include Sam Houston on one of my playlists. So he's amazing. So I'm excited to see him. We
went on a social distance walk sometime this summer.
You and Sam Houston?
Him and his brother, walking around
what's
the east side.
A social distance
walking, like roaming
like
the
in
east
tandem?
Side.
Like that's what I'm thinking of. Like he's on one side of the street and you're on the other and you guys are just talking.
No, we're like 6.5 feet apart, but we just like wandered the east side. That's pretty much what I do in my spare time now. So,
wander the east side.
Yeah, just walking around. You'll see people. You've probably seen me out there taking calls. People are like,
you're always on your phone.
I've heard this.
In a good, it's not a bad thing.
Most people just say not a good way, but
you're doing things. It's not like you're just sitting there being like, hey, like, what are you doing?
The occasional fake call.
When did you, like before
just
you
to budge lines. It's bulletproof way to budge a line. Pretend you're on a call, just people don't want to bother you.
That's true. I need to use that.
Well, I shouldn't. I just told everyone.
Yeah, now if you see Jack on the phone, it might be a pretend phone call. So just talk to him anyways.
Clarissa has 21,000 followers now.
It is what it is. You're an important guy. People want to talk to you.
Nah.
So I love, again, like the whole drive-in concept, everything you're doing with your artists. Like, where do you kind of see music going from here? I know there's this whole big thing. Obviously, this is typically ACL time. Yeah. And so with that, I know my friend Steve and I are always kind of going back and forth of like when we think festivals will come back. Like, do you have any kind of insight?
No,
really?
Definitely no one knows. Like anyone that tells you they know doesn't. They're lying.
Really?
Like, yeah. We don't know about the vaccine or lack thereof or temperature.
Is that what
testing,
they're waiting on, or like
rapid
for sure?
Testing?
Yeah.
Well, I think like rapid testing could change the game. Like if you can test people on site, Florida's about to fuck it all up and like let people just like,
Oh, it's willy-nilly over there.
I mean, I think it has been since like probably the beginning of time, but
they're the first state to kind of just open and do whatever they want.
Yeah, their governor's crazy. But I think rapid testing will be a thing this spring. I don't think it's going to be a thing that people like jump at kind of thing. Maybe smaller shows and rapid testing, if they can make it affordable enough that like a small venue can afford 100 of them, to get people in. There's going to be like pod shows where there's like these elevated little mini stages for you and your group of 4 to like stand on.
I've seen those.
Yeah, they did them in like the UK, I think. And I know someone developing one in maybe not Florida, actually. But like it seems proper. It seems like well done. But
it seems very Florida.
No, it's actually this seems well done. But it isn't Florida. Shout out Florida though. Fun state.
And Florida, yeah, they're like they have hurricanes.
It's got Miami.
All the time.
Miami's awesome.
Like, yeah, you got Miami, but I feel like again, like I lived in, I don't know if you knew that, I lived in Alabama I went to school in Mobile, Alabama.
Where?
Mobile at Spring Hill. It's a D2 school.
My cousins go there.
Really?
I have 3
Spring Hill
cousins.
College?
2 cousins that go to Spring Hill, maybe a third, and then my other cousin goes to Alabama, and they're from the south side of Chicago.
There's a big Chicago.
It's because it's Catholic.
Jesuit.
Yeah.
There's a Jesuit college.
I went to Loyola Chicago for 2 years, which is Jesuit too. But the pipeline from Chicago to Alabama.
It's I was surprised. Like I did a recruiting trip there and I thought it was going to be like I'm this girl from San Antonio, hadn't really been out. And then I was like, oh, Alabama. I'm thinking like the wild, wild west, like rolling tumbleweeds kind of thing. And I get there and like, whoa, it's an actual city. There's things going on here. Like they have, there's a beach there. And I was like, great. Like it's surprisingly like nightlife at that time. But then the thing that I wasn't prepared for was the hurricanes.
Yeah. And I'm from North Carolina. There's the hurricanes.
So, but then also how they treat like to me, I was like, oh my God, again, everything's like so dramatized through the news. But then when you get there, there's people that are from there like, oh, we're having a hurricane party. Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean a hurricane party? Yeah. They're like, Clarissa, we have hurricane parties. Like hurricane, like, and literally like we'll make cups and decorate and have like just all parties during the hurricane.
I guess it's one way to get through it.
Then Katrina hit. Yeah. So that's when I bounced.
So my third cousin is thinking about going there, but she's got like scholarships other places and stuff too. And I was like, don't go there. But maybe she should, you're saying?
I mean, I told her to come to Austin. It's changed a lot.
I told her to come to Austin. I was like, free tickets to shows.
Yeah.
For you and your friends.
Yeah.
It's a good perk.
I think it's changed a lot. So like I went back for our reunion and it was just, I mean, literally like night and day from what it used to be. I think, it's not like it used to be. You can't even get like an Uber out of downtown.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was kind of, it was shocking. Like I was like, wow, this is not, I felt bad for the kids that are going there now. Cause I was like, wow, we tore it up. Yeah. We had all kinds of.
Your recollection of it.
Yes, but I played sports, which kept me out of a lot of trouble. Yeah, like people don't realize that.
Wake up early and
like I remember there was one time we had gotten back from a game. It was like this big party that everybody was going to, and we show up, all like packed in because only like 2 of us had cars, so we looked like a clown car, like trying to get to this party. And we were there, and I remember we like literally pull up, and there's a paddy wagon. There's 2 paddy wagons, and kids are just getting like shoveled in there. Yeah. So it's like, it kept me out of a lot of trouble, but it also like, and I wasn't really exposed to music. Like we had music, but like my group that I loved was the Yin Yang Twins. Mm-hmm. That was
Me too.
Did you?
Yeah.
I love the Yin Yang
The
Twins.
first group I like really managed was
Don't
called
say
Styles
Yin Yang
Incomplete.
Okay.
But I have been on calls with the Yin Yang Twins manager. I definitely don't think he's their manager anymore. Let me see what he is on my phone. And if you still are, sir, I'm sorry.
The Yin Yang Twins, I made a great, so I used to
Dennis, YYT manager. I called him to book a show, and because like through the guy I was managing, friends with them, I was like, Alex wants to like book you guys on the show too. The promoter wants to do it. And you like heard in the background, like someone like come meet a customer. Like I think it was a used car dealership. Maybe not, but probably.
I thought you were going to say you heard like that.
No, you heard like someone, no,
like
that would be cool.
That's what I thought you were going to, that's where I thought that was going. You heard that.
It was like, you heard like someone come meet the customer on aisle. Whatever.
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, where are you?
Definitely not.
But yeah, this guy I managed was a producer for the Yin Yang Twins when he was like real young.
Wow.
They like found him. I forget how they found his beats, but maybe he handed them outside a show, like something crazy. But he would sleep on their couch in Atlanta and like make beats for them all night and then drive back to Charlotte. And he got a couple like songs placed, but that's kind of like how he got his start. Like that was probably 2007 or 8 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's throwback. I used to love
They're
that.
awesome. They got hits. They have like 10 hits.
I literally,
Maybe
I used to, and I didn't sell them, but back in like the Napster days, I used to make like the greatest hits. I made like a Yin Yang hits.
Napster was this thing.
Napster, yeah. The kids, they'll never know. They'll never know the struggle of like downloading a bad, like a bad song.
Yeah.
Something that has like, you know,
they like you'd get rickrolled all the time where it would be like you'd be downloading the hot new song and it would be like, I forget what the song was. There was a song that like they would fake tag a different name always.
Yes.
That was,
and you'd spend like 2 hours downloading it because you finally found it.
And your parents, it would break the computer inevitably, and your parents would be like, "What the hell happened?" And you'd be like, "Nothing.
Just go back to sleep,
the
Mom."
Yin Yang Twins. Have you heard them?
It's AOL. Don't pick up the phone while I'm trying to download. Yeah, but dial up is real, y'all. For those who don't know what we're talking about, it's okay. Like struggle was real. You've got it really easy. Kids will never know. Even now. So like, but I feel like music has changed too. So like even with your artists now, like they've shifted, everything's done like through Spotify, Apple Music. Mm-hmm. And do you see any like, again, like challenges with that or kind of the future? Is it still going that direction?
What do you mean? Like
when they're putting out albums, like you said, it's just shifted so much, you know, from what it used to be and how music used to be released. And now I feel like everything's shifted. Like I know Spotify is getting into artist management and they're doing different things like that.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Ooh.
But I will say that it's so much better to be able to just like throw a song up now whenever, like I could put a song up in 2 days of me singing to you right now. And that's like the capability to do that.
Should do it.
I probably won't, but I could. But so like the turnaround time and stuff like that is awesome. The chance for someone in the middle of nowhere to like have success because of the internet is awesome. And I think that'll like continue to grow. The amount of music is going to continue to grow. Like the access to like really good recording equipment that's, you know, or at least very good recording equipment is affordable.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to see a bunch more like kids, like bedroom pop is like this, has been a big wave of music for a few years. And it's like,
is that called? That's the actual like name of the genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bedroom pop.
Yeah. But it's like kids literally like limited supplies, making it at their house, putting it online,
awesome.
Getting millions of streams. Like Adam has made all this stuff in his bedroom that we're putting out next. And like he played it for me in Chicago like 2 weeks ago. And the songs are really timely. Is like, you should all go listen to Adam Melchor right now.
He's amazing. Yeah. Just stop this podcast.
He's got a voice of an angel.
Listen.
But he like, the songs are very timely. And he's like, we should put them out. And I was like, no, he's like, should we put them out? I was like, for sure, let's put it out. I'm always pushing that. I managed with a guy named Will Perleiter, and he's always like, well, guys, let's make a plan, which is like the truth. But we're like, nah. I was like, just give the people the music. But he's like, we called Will and we kind of like entrapped him to agree to putting it out. And so we're putting out a couple songs soon. But the turnaround time is quick, and like it'll get in the right hands quickly, and like it's just pretty cool to have that freedom. And I think that'll just, like I said, continue to grow. Where else is like the digital music space going? Like Spotify and Apple and YouTube are going to get much bigger. So there's much more people on those platforms as they continue to grow like around the world. And it just, more people start paying for the platforms. So I think you're going to see like the streams go up a lot.
Yeah.
And the money for artists should go up too. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And then like vinyl's coming back. I don't know how much so. Like I gotta go look at the numbers, but for Mt.Joy specifically, it's like phenomenal.
Wow.
I think it's also a lot because of the art, and it can be like art on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
And our art's like phenomenal. It's this dude, Steve Gerard, that went to college with Sam Cooper, our guitar player, and he does like all of our album art. Mm-hmm. We got a couple other people that do like poster art. This guy named Bailey Race does like most of our poster art.
Is that who did your one for 11 Light?
Yeah. Super talented kid. He's like a 22-year-old from Baltimore that was like a fan and sent in some like a design and asked if we could make a poster. And like if someone asks us if they can make a poster, I'm like, yeah, like I don't know if we'll use it, but like you're welcome to make a poster. And he made it and it was like crazy. And I was like, dude, how you do this? How long have you been doing this? He's like a year, man. I've been in school for a year. I was like, dude, you're really good. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And they did really well. And then we used them again.
Be like, no, you're not that good, but just keep sending it to us.
No. I was like, no, I started connecting him to everybody. He's done stuff for like Cottonmouth, The Strokes, Pearl Jam.
Really? What's his name?
Head in the Heart. His name is Bailey Race.
Shout out Bailey Race.
Yeah. But now, so I told him, I was like, you should quit your job and just like do this. There's money in this.
That's
and
amazing.
he just quit his job.
Oh,
so like
that's
a year later. But that's like just another person that's kind of came in and done art. But I guess sidetracked, the good art helps sell it.
Yeah,
like because
it really does.
I don't know how many kids even have record players that buy it, like for real. But
it's a collector's item too.
Yeah,
like you said, it's something that you have that's from the band. That's like literally a visual interpretation of the music that you don't normally get.
We have CDs too, but like the CDs do not sell. Please go buy our CDs. I have a lot of them.
But I think you're right. I think you touched on like a really good point though, that everything like music now, like you said, between like the accessibility is just there. Like you literally just shoot someone a DM or, tag them in something and whereas before you didn't have that. You couldn't literally like talk to your favorite artist. You had to like send in a fan, some fan mail. And now it's like, cool, I just want to shoot you a DM. And if they want to answer, they'll answer. If they don't, they don't. But at least, 9 times out of 10, they're going to see it. They're at least going to glance over it. We
have like a text service now too. It's a company called Community, but like we have Adam and Mt.Joy have phone numbers. And so like you can text us and like we'll respond.
Wow.
Like, almost always. Not always, like, because we have to go in. We're not like, we don't have live updates, notifications. That would be insane. But like they'll go in and answer a bunch of questions. Adam Melchor sends out, like, this is another crazy thing in music and how prolific of a songwriter he is, but every Sunday he sends out a new song to his fans via Community, this text platform.
Wow.
I think he's got like 8,000 phone numbers and a couple thousand emails that are like international folks that we can't text, but he does a different song every week. And
just something that he makes. He just, wow.
And sometimes it's a cover, but usually it's like an original song. And the idea was because Adam does like lots of songwriting sessions. He does a lot on his own, but he does a lot with like other writers, like a bunch of amazing writers and producers. And it's an easy way to like, we text it out on like a YouTube link that's not, it's unlisted. So you can't like go find it. So it's like a way to like release music without really releasing music, get feedback, see what people are like feeling. Like we've decided to release stuff because of feedback from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just such a cool way to be able to put music out in the world when a lot of times like there's so many phenomenal songs that are just like sitting on hard drives because like for whatever reason, like the band goes a different direction with it. The label didn't love it, whatever. And it's cool to just like be less precious with the music and be able to like put it out, and for him to be able to do it weekly, and he plans to do it like weekly forever.
Wow.
Is insane.
And so you're able just to have like this bank of songs to pull from.
Yeah. And then like maybe you want to go back in on them, work on them more. Bring in a feature.
Have you done that like with those songs? Or he's like, oh, I want to actually like release this.
Yeah. So we have something coming for that. That's going to be really special. So,
ooh. Yeah. That's exciting. What's the name of that text service for people that?
Community.
Yeah. Okay. And so they can be a part of that. And then is that like a subscription kind of based thing?
Fans don't have to pay, but we have to pay like by the number of cell phone numbers we have. So it like goes up as you have more contacts that you can reach out to, like a monthly payment kind of thing.
Wow.
But it's powerful. I mean, it's definitely better than an email, being able to text somebody. But you also have to be like, as an email, you have to be like precious with what you're sending them. You can't be like
spamming
like
them.
Adam has never sent anything except for the Sundays and responses. With Mt.Joy, an amazing thing about it is you know where the phone number is from because the people put in their area code, but they actually say where they're from. So when we go to Chicago, we put a Chicago show and say, I text them like, hey, I hope you're doing good. I just announced a show in Chicago, and it goes exactly to those people.
Wow.
And we know those are like in theory super fans that are like have chosen to
personalized.
text you. Yeah. So that's crazy. But you have to be like, you can't be over texting people or else they'll unfollow you. It's just like with an email. So
right. Like all the political ones I'm getting right now.
Yeah.
That are like, I'm like unsubscribed.
Yeah. It's so quick. And they don't unsubscribe you. I got this one senator from North Carolina. Like, I will never vote for you. You're breaking laws. I've unsubscribed like 100 times.
They're like, just put them on a different list, guys. Yeah. We'll get them. We'll eventually get them.
Bounce around.
That's awesome. So what other ways, like you said, so community, like you said, you guys are doing merch, you're doing, what other ways are you like helping your artists just, again, like pivot during these times? Because it sounds like these are all things that have changed, but for the better, essentially. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I think we're like very lucky. And so I think it's for the better in the sense that I think people are getting creative, coming up with new things. Some of them are really cool. Some aren't. Live streams can be really cool. Live streams can be really bad. I think the bad live streams are going to hurt all the live streams together. Like next year, I don't think live streams are going to be like, I think it's going to be hard for bands to sell live streams next year because people have paid for a bad live stream by that point and they might not want to do it again. Like when you get your friends together to go watch a band you really like and the live stream is like them in like their boxers in their living room with like mic'd up poorly. It's like maybe that.
Yeah.
But I think doing good live streams has been a cool thing that we're trying to do like on a high level for Adam and Mt.Joy. Wow. Adam's about to play on this thing for NIVA, which is the National Independent Venue Association.
Yes. I saw something like that. It just came up, right? Like something they're doing with Save Our Stages and
they're doing a bunch of cool stuff to try and like save these independent venues, which are like dropping like crazy and they're like amazing venues.
Yeah.
Some of the best venues because they're those venues that you see the band like on your first or second time, when the first or second time through town, the 250 cap to like the 1200 cap that are like these like, you know, in Austin, there's a bunch of them in the Red River District, like specifically. And Steve Sternshine, actually, who owns Empire, Controlman Garage, and the Parish, he is part of NIVA, but they're doing like, they're about to do this one big day of streams, but it's like super highly produced. They're doing it at different independent venues. So like Adams is going to be, I can just say, I don't think it matters, but he's going to do it at Hotel Cafe in LA, which is like a famous venue, independent venue.
Wow.
And like someone will probably do the Troubadour in LA as well. And people will do a bunch of different spots like that. I'm rambling without live streams, but highly produced live streams that are better, hopefully. Right. And paywalling those, I think if you can go wide with it, you can make some good money and also put out like a cool, fun experience.
Yeah.
For like bands, some bands like that haven't played for forever, if they come back into the live stream, it could be like massive. If they're down to do it from their home. So I think in general, there's a lot of good, but it's some people are just like crushed, and I like feel for them. Like the people that are like like the crews that tour, like there's like they have to like go find other work unless they can hopefully hop on one of these things that's like the drive-in tours and stuff like that. These small venues, the people who work with the small venues, people at C3 that throw like the best events in the world. So it's been a shitty year, and unfortunately I think there's more to come, but I think that like there has been a lot of innovation and cool shit that's come from it. So I'm like, you know, cautiously optimistic, and you've seen people like a lot of people like come together during it too, which is like, has been really cool.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think like you said, the positive to that is the fact that we do have access to everybody, you know, it's like you said, can you imagine if this had happened like 10 years ago, who knows, you know, we didn't have all these things like that, like you said, the internet or being able to, all this technology that we have now where, like you said, they can, if they want to live stream in their boxers, they can, you know? But now they can. And like you said, I think it even gives more empower, you know, the whole work from home situation. People are at home on their phones. And again, like music
that's great. Like work from home, that moving forward for people is amazing. So many of these offices are like stale and terrible, and the rent costs so much. Like work from home. Like, a lot of other countries are doing it that have been doing that for like a long time. So that's going to be a good thing.
So how can people, again, like moving forward, just support artists and support live music that you know?
Definitely buy their merch, like for sure. The merch is like usually not touched by any other company, like, you know, by theory labels and stuff like that. So that goes directly to them. It's not something that they have to wait around for. A lot of like people that are in record deals, like you get a little money at the beginning to record your music, hopefully some for you to have. And then you have to wait a long time, in theory, a long time, whenever things go well enough to pay it off and you get more money. But that takes a while. Merch is like in their hand right away.
Got it.
Stream their music, share their music with your friends. That's like really powerful. Yeah, tell your friends about bands you like, share music. And yeah, I think there's like, when tours come back, like we have to like buy tickets, and like they might cost a little bit more money. There might be like 2 shows a night. There's gonna be early shows. Like in New York City, there's gonna be like maybe 3 shows a night at some places.
Wow.
There's already 2 shows a night at a lot of places in New York.
Just stacking them up.
Yeah, it's gonna be like early shows. People gonna be sound checking in the morning and stuff. Wow. It's gonna be weird, but it's gonna be awesome. Like when it comes back, it's gonna be awesome. Some people are like, are you worried that people are gonna like be hesitant to come back when it's like better? I was like, as long as things are like actually better, I think it's gonna be crazy. And then also like people are like, well, there'll be, you know, and people in the industry are like, I'm worried to book a tour because there's so many other shows. And I'll be like, people go to shows, like maybe I'm crazy, but I think people go to shows like 4 nights a week. Like not everybody, but people that are like really music fans. Well, you did, you really did.
Yeah, I used to go to shows all the time. But so yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, like I would literally see you like 3 nights a week. Probably,
yeah,
because I go to shows all the time too.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I was like thinking all the other times. Yeah, the big wild show.
Shout out Jessie Arlen.
Oh, love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's an angel.
She
just
is.
Walking on earth. Love
Literally
her.
one of the nicest people in the world.
One of the nicest people. Well, I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like we could just keep talking for hours about this. Fun. But yeah, I also want to ask you, this is Concert Queen Connect. So what was your first concert that you ever went to?
I actually like, I do know actually. So my parents are, I was like, I don't know. I don't remember like my first like ticketed show I really wanted to go to. I honestly didn't really go to shows much until high school, but growing up I think I want to say it was like August or something. Me and my family would lived in Madison, Wisconsin at the time. We'd go to Irish Fest in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And like, it's kind of before you know like what alcohol is and like why your parents are acting crazy. So we would just get like super hopped up on Mountain Dew, but we went to Irish Fest every year.
Mountain Dew.
See Irish bands.
Yeah.
Gaelic
like
Storm.
The kids from Ricky Bobby.
Yes, worse for sure. Me and all my friends are on Mountain Dew and the parents were hammered. But yeah, that was my first concert experience.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Mine, oh goodness. See, mine's kind of embarrassing. Mine was NSYNC.
That's not embarrassing.
I mean,
they have bangers.
But I wish I had something cool. Like I go and I see these kids now that like, I was at Metallica, I forgot, like 5 or 6 years ago in San Diego. And you see literally just like these little tiny kids with these headphones, you know, the sound canceling headphones on. I'm like, that's the cool, like they're going to be able to say that Metallica was their first concert when they were like 3.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, but again, like live music for me, it just connects people. And like I said, connects me to you. Yeah. And it's just the love language for artists and everyone. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. We're going to do this again. We're not going to let so much time pass.
Yes,
next time. Now that we've seen each other.
Drive-in, end of the month.
Drive-in. Yeah. Love and Light Stream. I'm really excited for that. 2 shows, end of the month. They're also doing some other shows, which we'll talk about later. Mm-hmm. But Mt.Joy will be here on Halloween.
It's going to be fun.
What are you dressing up as?
Every year I dress up as the Bash Brothers with my friend Charlie Kerrigan. So we dress up as the Mighty Ducks every year. We have pictures. It's just like, it's just since college, my face has just changed a bit. But
you're going to keep this hair?
I'm not.
He used to have a really like short,
I'm not
short do. Just keep rocking it. It's a vibe. It's a look.
It's something.
Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate y'all listening, and make sure to check us out. Like and subscribe. There you go.